Hey, and welcome to Code to Cloud. And I'm your host, as always, Kevin Evans. And I met with my good friend today, Constance. And he's going to come on and talk about Azure AI Search and Azure Fabric, right? Which has been getting a lot of attention, right? So, Constance, do you want to just give yourself an intro and let us know what you're going to be talking about today?
Yes. Thank you, Kevin, for having me tonight. Yeah, I'm Kostas. It's my short name. Konstantinos is the official one. Passadis is my short name. I'm calling from Athens, Greece. I'm Microsoft MVP, certified trainer. I'm an IT professional for more than 20 years. And I'm so glad to be here with Kevin tonight and present to you this session. It is actually quite a big one. And we're not going to do it, of course, live from the scratch, but we're going to see it.
Awesome.
So, yeah,
Seeing is believing, right?
that is so true. Yeah, that is so true. And the idea for it came for when I was looking into Fabric. Actually, it started, the Fabric platform was what took me into this idea. So I told myself, would it be even possible to integrate Fabric AI search and an application that does something around this? And I spent quite some days and nights, to tell you the truth. And yeah, here it is. This thing also is participating into the Microsoft Fabric Hackathon 2024. The submission date just closed the other day. It's not, I think it was last week.
Right.
And yeah, I like to participate just for me to have, this perception of I need to finish this in that time. I do have that in my work, of course, my everyday job. But regarding hackathons, you do have a lot of time to do it. And you say, okay, I do have time, don't worry, I do have time. And then it comes right to the submission period, so you don't have to be a little bit faster. And of course, you have to add quality to what you're doing. So this time, I was very careful to do it with a little pinch of quality in it, and I hope that it gets a little bit of recognition. I don't want to be the winner or anything like that. Like I'm doing it because I like it, and I think we're a bit of uh, uh, lucky people. Can I say? At least for me, my profession is also my hobby. I like what I do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
I completely agree. I get
yeah,
to do my hobby as my job, right? Kind of thing.
yes,
So
yes,
I love technology, right? Especially when Azure's involved as well.
yeah,
Just yeah, there's always
yes,
something new to learn as well, right? Which is great.
always, always. And yeah, when I was onboarded into the MVP program, I know that you are quite some years, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I saw the immense, expertise around people and how the community is willing to help each other. This was just amazing. It was amazing. For me, it was a unique experience, once in a lifetime. And for
Hackathons,
me,
yeah.
yeah,
Sorry, hackathons are great as well for meeting new people
yeah,
in the community as well, and you get to learn something as well, right?
always.
Like I always encourage people to go to hackathons, be that customers or community members, right? If you can see one that's going to be happening, most of the time they're remote as well, so you can connect anywhere in the world, right? Time
Yeah,
zone permitting, right? But yeah, I always encourage people to try to attend hackathons as much as possible.
yeah, yeah. It is an experience. It is also an amazing experience. And coming from a difficult period, everyone is looking to connect. I think the the year 21, 22 was a little bit of hard for people. Okay, online saved us. We were able to stay in touch. But we were discussing the other day with our local community that it's time to do things in person, and we're noticing people are very willing to travel, to go to events around the world, go to events in England, in the UK, in Germany, in France, just for the fun of the trip and meeting people and just say hello. And yeah, I think this is nice, and it's coming from within the technology, and yeah, a very positive thing, a very positive experience to do that. And of course, you are able to learn new things, meet new people, challenge your knowledge and your perception. I think this is working that way, but then you meet someone and you discuss it, and then he tells you something else. And you're trying to understand, and you realize that, okay, I have to change my way of thinking. This is not what it looks like. I have to reevaluate what I already think I know. And this is ongoing. I don't know if it's a curse in our profession or it is something that we should be happy of it. But yeah, we have this ongoing thing. Things are changing. We have to keep up. You have to learn again. You have to reevaluate what you think you know. And this is a very, very dynamic thing happening. And we had the
Awesome.
Ignite, of course, with so many
Oh
things
yeah.
coming out.
That's what I'm going to spend this weekend doing, right? Is going through all the Ignite material, right? To see what's relevant to my domain, right? Kind of thing. But there was so many announcements, right? So much good news.
Yes.
So yeah. Awesome. What is it we've got here then? We've got a React app, right? On a web app. Running on a web app, right?
Yeah. What we have here is an integration of different things. First of all, the basis of all this is an Azure SQL database.
Right.
And this is storing our users. We can register. We have this front end, which is actually a Dockerized React web app, right? Where we can just go and register. If we can have a quick look here, let me zoom in so we can see better. We can just enter our name, okay? Let me add some details here. And I can add my age. I'm not 25, I wish. Anyway. Yeah, this one. And the password. And here it is the important thing. I can select my book preferences, right? I have a very long list, which I should have made it a little bit smaller, but anyway, I want to, have options for people. So I can select, what I like regarding books. Okay, I do have probably a lot of preferences, but yeah, let's add some things. And of course, I can, add my picture or it is optional.
Right.
What will happen now? We're firing this into our backend, which is an Express.js app. Okay, it will bring everything into the SQL. The password is going to be a hash, and the picture is going to be a URL pointing to the storage account where our picture is stored. So I'm registering, and I'm taking the message that okay, welcome. Now we can log in. Just a quick look into the app services behind this. We have this front end, right? Again, it is a Docker. I like to Dockerize everything whenever possible. And this is the backend, which is the Node.js Express.js app. Again, it is a Dockerized thing. The important thing, I'm not using environment variables. We are using Key Vault. So the Express application, when it tries to connect to the SQL, it's looking for credentials, right? It needs credentials. Right. Best practices, what they say, never store it in your code.
Exactly. So, this is the rule. This is the law, right? We don't want it in code, right? We want it somewhere secure, right?
That's true. That's very true. Yeah. And we are adding everything to Key Vault. I'm sure it's not this one. Where is it? Okay, it's secrets. I'm sorry. So
That's okay.
everything is here. Everything is here. And that the good thing is that all the infrastructure is done via Terraform, right? This is the good thing. We can have a quick look, if you don't mind, in the
repo.
repo. Yeah, what I have to sign in. So sorry.
That's okay.
I hope it's this one. No. Yeah, it's this one.
Good to see you've got multi-factor authentication there as well.
Yeah. How can I say that? In the beginning, I said, okay, I don't care about this, but I understood that it's mandatory. I don't know if you agree with me, but a few seconds of our time to just, accept or provide the code may save us from a lot of hours trying to restore something that is cracked or, hacked.
I was the guy that used to turn that on.
Yeah, that's very good. That's very good of you. And thank you for that.
I'm fully behind it.
I was the other guy. I'm sorry. I was the other guy. Yeah.
Why are they making my life harder, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's required, right? It's another layer of defense.
Exactly.
So we've got our Terraform repo here, right? With our infrastructure in there. So
yes. Everything is here. So we're using Sweden because Sweden is a region that has has more things in Europe than other regions regarding AI.
That's right.
If I try to remember exactly what it is, I think it's about the embeddings, but forgive me if I'm making a mistake here. I know that I selected this specific region because it's a little bit more enhanced regarding AI in Europe. In the US, we have East US, and there are also 2 or 3 more regions. It's hard to keep up sometimes, Kevin, with the changes. But yeah, so we're using log analytics, of course. I like application insights. I love application insights. They are a lifesaver. Not only you can get a lot of insights, but you can troubleshoot everything in a deeper level and save a lot of time when you're trying to troubleshoot your functions or your code or your anything. So I think it's mandatory. Our SQL, right? In the Git, I don't have anything here. A firewall rule that applies a public access to the SQL. And now I have to say that the best practice again will instruct us to use private endpoints, right?
Correct.
This is not using it, but it's the best practice, and I'm highlighting this. Private endpoint, it is also mandatory. Why not use it? Okay, why not? There's no reason to not use it for me. Now, we have the ability with local provisioners in Terraform, as you know, to run whatever we want to run. So just be careful here to have SQL CMD on your workstation. Otherwise, Terraform won't be able to pick it up.
Right, okay.
And we're just creating the table for our users. We're creating the storage account, going to store our pictures, across origin rule for everything. The container registry. The container registry is used for our 2 Dockerized images, the front end and the back end.
Right.
We're creating also an AI search in the basic SKU. Free can work also, but in case you are facing trouble, basic is the way to go. And the user assigned managed identity, so you don't need to create system assigned all the way around. Just use this one with the roles you need to use. And for the key vault, we're using a module. While I'm certified in Terraform, I still consider myself around 6 to 7, 6.5 with perfect 10 regarding the knowledge of this amazing tool. I think it's an amazing tool, Terraform. And I wish I could have the time to learn a bit more about it. And the level of automation it can reach is amazing. Yeah, this is the module. It's creating the relations between Key Vault and the roles we need around for access. Mostly it has to do about the backend, because the backend is what does everything in our case. And talking about backend, let's have a quick look here. It's an Express.js app. It's very long. It does everything. And by everything, I mean, let's see it quickly. It has different endpoints, right? So it gets the user ID. It also has the login. Once we press login, it's going to log in. It's using a JWT token to allow the user to log in and have also the ability to store the user profile. So it will bring back your photo and your name when you log in the main dashboard. And then we're starting using the AI things. So one thing that's going to use is the recommendations, and I'm going to explain in a bit. The AI assistant, it's another endpoint. And I think we're done. There are more, but I don't want to stay here too much. The Docker file, of course, that is used to Dockerize our image, and the customer jinx for the
For the ingress,
server
right?
for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ingress, right.
That's
Exactly.
right.
So when we are logging in here, let's use the previous one so you can have a look what we're trying to do. Yeah, it took some time for us to log in. So if we register and log in directly, this is going to be a yellow indication that we don't have yet our personalized recommendations. And what I mean by that, while we have an AI search vector database in place, each time that a new user is registered, we need to recreate the embeddings for that user, right? We need to get their details, and I'm talking about preferences on the books, right? This is what our application does. It interacts with you about books and your preferences. So each time a new user registers, we need to recreate for this user, we need to create for this user their embeddings. And by embeddings mean take their data, break it down, send it to OpenAI, create the embeddings, and store them back to Azure AI Search. How this process is done? In this case, we are utilizing Fabric. And let's have a quick look. Yeah.
What is Fabric?
What is Fabric? I recently read somewhere that it is a SaaSified PaaS.
That's
It
right.
is
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that. Right.
it is a SaaSified platform as a service offering. But it is a unified platform for our data and applications and visualizations and reporting and engineering and real-time intelligence applications. And now recently we got this one. It appeared yesterday or the other day. And what we can do here is really amazing. Just a quick look. We can create now actual SQL databases here. This is what I understood. I haven't used it yet, but we're going to use it, of course. It is amazing, and it is something that is around 1 year, and everyone have loved it. Everyone have loved it, including me.
It's like a one-stop shop data platform, right? It seems to have everything
Right,
in there. It looks
right,
pretty cool.
right. I used to work with Synapse because I saw the templates of Synapse that Microsoft has created, and I was very intrigued to use them. And then I discovered Fabric, and I said, "Oh my God, everything is here. You can do everything here."
That's going to be
And
great for those
one of the
data
things,
folks, right?
yeah, they do love it. I had a discussion the other day with some very young people that are very smart, intelligent, and they do like data and analytics. And they told me that we used to work with other platforms, but when we saw Fabric, we decided to adopt it and move on with Fabric and stay there as long as possible. We will convince our managers and our decision makers to invest on this platform. We like it a lot. This is what I got from them. And I really respect their opinions.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we do have a books pipeline, and we will ask you, okay, where did you find the books? You need an immense database. There is a site named Kaggle where you can get models, you can get data sets, you can get a lot of stuff free. So you have this upside that you can get fictitious or real data sets. And I got this data set, but there is a problem with these data sets. They are not all there is not every data set clean and ready to use. In the data language, we say medallion architecture, we say the bronze and the silver and the gold layer. I'm not
Right.
going to talk about that. I'm going to say just that the data is not ready to be utilized in our search, in our AI search. We need a pipeline. This is the first pipeline. So what it does, I store my CSV of the books in an Azure storage account. So the first thing you do is let's create a pipeline. Let's bring this data in. Okay. And by in, I mean it's going to store it in our OneLake. Well, that's another amazing feature of Fabric. You do have OneLake, so you do have integrated storage with Delta tables and right on the storage. You don't need another service to support it. OneLake, it's like a lake house, the combination of data warehouse and data lake.
Lake house. I like that
Yeah.
term.
They took, yeah,
Take
lake
the best of
house.
both worlds, right? Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. That was the perfect explanation. We have to clean it. We are cleaning it, and here comes the power of Python and Spark. Because when you get Fabric, you're also getting Spark clusters. They are the engines for you. They are the compute power behind Fabric. And of course, you can use trial. And the amazing thing is that you will get the capacity of F64, meaning that you will get the ability to use Spark cluster or almost anything that you want to do for 60 days. So yeah, anyone can really start a trial and be amazed with this amazing tool. Spark clusters we can run, meaning that we can run our Python notebooks. We have a notebook here that is cleaning. I will go to the screen. Just quick look here in the pipeline. I'm copying again back to the OneLake because I want to restore it as a CSV. Remember, when we clean it, it's saving it as a Parquet file. So it's breaking down, if you know a Parquet, breaks down the CSV into 4 or 5 or 6 chunks of data. And this is the format of the Parquet file. Again, I'm restoring it as CSV. I'm converting it to JSON. Everything is done by a copy activity and the notebook. I'm recopying the JSON back to OneLake, and now it's time to go to AI search. So transform the JSON to array because we have a data set that has writer, title, genre, and ratings. But the genre, it's another array inside the column. So we have to reformat our JSON and be understandable by AI search and understand that this column, this data set, or this field is also containing multi-values, okay? And it is the genres column for us. It has philosophy, literature, everything. And then we're uploading to AI search. Now, in Fabric, you can create your own environments with your own libraries. So let's say that I forgot to upgrade my code to Python version 1 for OpenAI, and I'm still using version 0.28. It's not a problem. I will go to the environment section of a Fabric, add my own versions of libraries that I want to the Spark cluster, and it's going to utilize this specific environment I have created for my specific requirements. So I don't have to import anything here. Everything is added in the environment. And to tell you the truth, you cannot run notebooks from a pipeline. Okay? If you cannot run notebooks from a pipeline with commands like magic commands, as they are named. For example, I cannot add here a pip install something. I can do it in only in this interface, but if I try to run it in a pipeline, it will fail, and it will guide me to create an environment with my libraries. Okay, another amazing feature. Okay, so you can get these IDs. They are not. They are going to be removed, so don't worry. So what we're doing now, we're taking the JSON and we're storing it into AI search. But before that, we are also creating the index, right? We create the index with our requirements. The ID, the title, the description, the author, the genres, and the rating of the book. Why rating? You will see. Once we create the index, we check it. We create we load the JSON data, right? We validate that everything is correct regarding the data itself. Although we went through a cleaning procedure, we do have to be careful that everything is correct before uploading to Azure AI Search. So we do have some error corrections here regarding the format of the JSON. And then we are good to go. The final step on this pipeline, we just uploaded the files. We didn't do nothing with embedding. So we do want to go now, connect to OpenAI, have a deployment ready of text embedding model, something like text embedding. It's the what we usually use to create the embeddings. You see this command, you cannot run it. That's why I have
You've hashed it out,
comment.
right? Yeah.
So in my environment, I do have this need, so I'm using this specific version. We're connecting to the search service and to Azure OpenAI. We're creating two new fields for the embeddings. We're creating the vector profile. We are creating a semantic configuration for the title, the genres, and then we'll create the new field that will store this content. And then we are creating the embeddings. Now, because this is a big data set, anyone watching this code is available in GitHub. It is an open source repo, so you can use it freely. It has some nice things like this one I'm going to show you right now. We are creating the embeddings, but we do have rate limits in Azure OpenAI, and we have to be careful about it. I cannot send 2 gigabytes of data and expect to happen in 2 seconds and get the embeddings back. So I'm using the back-off strategy, as it's called. So I'm stepping back, I'm retrying. I'm going to be rate limited, but I'm not going to be rejected. So maybe some rate limit errors, but you don't care. It will eventually complete this function. Okay. Upon creating the embeddings, store them back to Azure AI Search. Okay. Create this content, process everything, and restore them and store them to the AI Search service. So we created, this is the first and once that you're going to run this pipeline once you got your data set. The important thing is the other pipeline, the users. So upon creating the first time the users, I'm just going to show you the new users. That is what has interest here.
I love the visual representation of the breakdown of the process. So like just before we were transforming the data, right? Like grabbing it from a source, cleaning it up, right? Uploading that to Azure OpenAI instance, right? And then like you said, sort of controlling the flow of the amount of data that goes in as well, so that we get a more successful return. It makes it easier, right, for adoption as well, especially if you've never done anything like this before. I kind of like that, right? Like
Yeah, that's
Like you're
true.
mapping it out, right?
That's true. And we are running this notebook. We are back to our we are back to our resource group.
Yep.
Again, let's have a quick look in the search index, the search service, and finally the index. We have the books index and the users index, right? So here is what we created through our notebook in Fabric. And this is an important detail. While we are in Fabric, anyone can say, okay, I don't want to use Fabric. Okay, I'm a developer. I'm writing code. No problem at all. You can integrate your Fabric with Git. So everything will be stored in Git. In Azure DevOps, right? The protocol will be Git-like, but you can have source control with Azure DevOps. So while your developers are working your code, they can just sync the branch back to Fabric. I will say there's not that mature yet, because you can only sync a branch, but I think it's going to be eventually get bigger and with more options. At least
Still an
for
awesome
now.
feature, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, exactly for that reason. You have a developer. What is this? I don't know what is this. I don't want to work here.
Version control, right? And all that good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, we've done everything here now. Let's see the final step. Okay, we do have created our index. The important stuff. I'm sorry, I need to go back to show you something that's very interesting in Fabric. It's the integration that it supports for changes in our SQL. So when a new user is registering, what is happening? It's writing into our SQL database, right? So how we can fire up this pipeline? I don't want to have a schedule. Initially, I did have a schedule and said, okay, every 5 minutes, do that. But eventually, when you try to think about it, you need something of a real time. You don't need to be, over there and try to see, did it run? I do have an important thing that I need to do fast. And it's not about this specific use case. It applies to every scenario. You need a type of event streaming, right? Event driven architecture, right?
Right.
So Fabric supports the CDC function is change. I don't remember the acronym name. I will remember it and tell you. It's Azure SQL. I'm going to search for it. It's CDC, SQL, CDC, change, data capture. So
Right. Okay.
each time our SQL users are registering, a new row is created. And now the fun stuff here. You can create this event stream in real-time hub of Fabric and tell it to look only into the ID of the user. Why? Because if I want to rerun something that has to do with my SQL, I may fall in a loop. And in fact, I'm doing that. Each time a new user is registering, and while the notebook is running to create the new embeddings, it will write back to the database a field of the user that says recommendations ready, true, false, 1, 0, right? If I was watching the whole table of users, each time a new change were coming, I will activate again and again and again this event stream. I don't want that. I just want to be able to run this thing only when a new user is created. And how this is done? It's done by this thing that is called reflex. So you have the event stream that is watching your SQL, right? And when your event stream is firing, it activates this thing that is named a reflex. Okay, and what this thing does? Each time that your user ID's payload is above 0, which is all the times that the new user is writing,
Right.
fire up the new user's pipeline or the new user's notebook, whatever you want to do, right? So when I finish this pipeline that activates a function that writes back to the SQL, the write back action, it won't fire again the pipeline. It is firing up only when a new user is registered, meaning a new user index is added and it is above 0. This is an amazing feature. And once I discovered it, I said, oh my God, this is amazing. This offers me an immense flexibility. So what is happening right now when a new user is registered, the final step of the notebook is to run a function app that communicates with SQL and updates the field recommendations ready. And that means that we are polling our database, and upon creation, this thing is getting green. So the user can say just this word, recommendations. I think I pressed it. Yeah. And
there we go.
there we go.
Is it going to work? Yes.
Yes, this is going to work.
I
A
know,
lot
right?
of days and night, Kevin.
The demo
Right.
gods are on your side today.
Today, yeah. It's nice to hear it. People are being through these things, and it's nice to have this interaction and see that you understand what's going on in my mind.
I really do.
Yeah,
I really do. Like, it's happened to me so many times, right? So.
Yeah. So I have improved this thing quite a bit. It was not that good. I didn't like it. I tried with some recommendations for OpenAI from OpenAI ChatGPT, here and there. And that doesn't mean when the user is logged in and this thing is yellow, you cannot communicate with AI. Of course you can, but you cannot just write this word and get back your personalized recommendation. This is the difference. Upon waiting, which takes about 1.5 minutes, you can write, okay, how about some literature with ratings above 4 and war in the description. I should have said peace, but okay.
That's okay.
There are a lot of books.
There's going to be more books about war than peace, unfortunately,
That's
right?
true.
So
That's true, yeah.
it's very true, right? So, I mean, that came back pretty quick, right?
Yes. It's not the personalized thing. It's already there, so it will be much faster to create and bring back the details. I like the fact that, sometimes you think that this thing has its own mind. In my previous test, this was not there. I never saw this 4.1 out of 5. I was just seeing 4.6 or 3. Now this thing came up. What do you think? Is it evolving? I do.
It is, right? It gets smarter all the time, right? That's
it is.
The more data that we feed the instance, right, the smarter it gets, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. Because I'm using a foundational model, and that means that it is also updated with the generic and everything that's happening in the backbones of our vendors, right? Yeah, right. I think you're right. Yes.
But yeah.
And I'm really liking this one because it integrates a lot of things. Of course, you have a custom identity database. You can do whatever you want with this dashboard, right? It's not only about AI. We have the ability to register your users, in an Azure SQL database. That's fine, and you can do then whatever you want to do. My initial idea was to work with Bing maps, something about maps, but then I changed my mind and went with this. It took me a lot of time.
I can see, like, there's a lot of moving parts. So just to recap, we had a container web app front end running React, right? All the infrastructure was deployed via Terraform and a Git repo, right, on GitHub. We were using storage accounts to store the images for the user profiles, but we're also using Azure SQL Database as well to contain the user IDs, right?
Right.
We were then
Right.
referencing that information with Azure Fabric as a platform, right? And doing some data transformation around that with
Yeah.
pipelines, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, we were using Azure AI Search, right, to sort of go away and find us recommendations based on what we
Right.
put right in the initial user setup, right?
Right.
And then you mentioned something around a lake house, right, to contain all that information in. I really like that term, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there was events, right? So every time a new user was created on the Azure
Yeah.
SQL database, it would trigger an event-based process
Yes.
to pull in the new user information, right, and then kick off the whole pipeline process again.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've mistaken, but yeah, at the end it was you could actually query Azure AI Search within the app to get
Yeah.
recommendations on
Yeah.
additional literature in this instance, right? So
Yes. Yes. So just a very quick look upon initial.
so if we
So
kick the process off again, right? Yeah.
yes. Yes. Is there? I don't know if I'm taking up time from you,
No,
but
no, no. We've got a couple more minutes.
and yeah, it's at least
Love the
it
logo.
is.
I
Yeah,
do you know I can't live without Copilot now.
it is true, right?
It,
It is
it's
true.
it, it, it's
Yeah,
I do everything with it, right? Like
yeah, amazing.
even personal stuff,
What do you
shopping
like to do?
lists.
What? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. Everything. What should I eat tonight?
Really, huh? Okay. I do. I use it a lot. To tell you the truth, I use
Yeah.
it for mostly job related things and some things about generic knowledge. I like to research various things. It's relaxing for me, nature or space or whatever,
Oh yeah. Like
and I like it a lot.
yeah.
Yes,
So this is
yeah,
kicking off the process again, right? In the back
yes.
end.
This is what's happening now. I'm going to show you real quick. Where is that? Yeah. So now, if I go to the new users index pipeline, yeah, it is here around history. And let me find the notebook. It's much better to see there what's going on around view runs. We will see it actually running right now. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
starting.
look, there it is, right? The process is kicked
Yeah.
off.
The
Again,
first time,
yeah,
yeah. No,
you
no,
can
continue.
validate
No.
that process, right, running as well, which is really good to see.
Yes, very important. The level that they have gone to bring Spark closer to the engineer is amazing. You do know that you have the ability to actually go to the Spark user interface and interact with the actual cluster. It's amazing. And in Synapse, we did have that. I have to admit it. But I was amazed how fast they were able to do it with Fabric. Yeah, you can tell me that, yeah, the processes were there, they knew what they were doing. I know, but still, it's impressive. It's a new product.
Awesome.
The first
Okay.
time, it will take, of course, some time
Oh
because you
yeah,
have
it's
to
gonna take a
fire up.
while, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you have to fire up the cluster.
But
Um,
yeah.
and someone can
Awesome.
say, yeah, I could do that without Fabric. It is true, yeah, you could do that. But imagine, don't have it just one data set. You have to work with 5 or 4 or enterprise level data sets. You need this term, this option of the lake house, of the one lake using, having the ability to work with delta tables. Delta tables offer you immense speed. It's not like these CSV files that you have to wait to process them and give it a minute. No, with the Parquet format and the delta tables, you do things like that. The notebook will run in 5 seconds. Take 5 to 10 seconds. That's the beauty, and that's the real thing with data. Something I learned through this, to tell you the truth. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, as we close up, where can folks follow what you're doing, Constance, online, right? I know you're on LinkedIn, but is there any other social media channels? Like, where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm in LinkedIn, and mostly you will find me in LinkedIn. It's my primary social media. I don't use Facebook for anything. My how can I say? My handle is K Passad. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, this is the one.
We'll put it in the show notes as well, right? So
Yeah,
people can
that's
find
great.
you.
That's
I
great.
can put that in there.
Yeah.
And if there's any repos, right, that are publicly accessible or any examples, we'll also include those in the
Yeah.
show notes as well, right? So you should be able
Great.
to find them below.
Great.
But yeah,
You will find a lot of repos here, and yeah, you will find a lot of stuff that you may find interesting. Go ahead and do your research, and I'm very open to contribution. So anyone willing to work with me, do something, change something, have a better idea for something, I'm very open. I do like to contribute with others and work with others. So yeah.
that's awesome. Well, thanks again, Constance, for coming onto the show. I've learned something. I think it's a great platform, right, for data operators and developers to get involved with.
Yeah.
Again, always thank you to our guests. Thank you to our audience. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to like and subscribe, right? And if you want to connect with the community for Code to Cloud, head over to connect.codetocloud.io, right? All of our links are there, right? To join the Discord and everything else. But yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. So goodbye for now.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.